Thank you so much for spending the last hours before your great gig tonight in Munich here at Rock Antenne. First of all, how has your tour been so far?
Thanks for having me here. It's great to be back here after a couple of years. Tour has been fantastic. We have played, I think, 8 shows so far, and in different cities, some in Germany, but also in Prague, in Vienna yesterday. Tomorrow we're going to Milan, and it's so good to be back on tour.
Great.
I mean, we missed it so much. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I always call it like, it's like a school trip, you know. We jump on the bus with my best friends and go around Europe and go around the world. It's fantastic.
Sounds great. So what can your fans look forward to on this tour?
Well, the shows have been very energetic, and I think our mission is to have people pumped up with energy and good vibes, because, you know, the world is crazy right now and everybody needs some good vibes and positiveness in the middle of all this craziness. And I think that's our mission, and we have really had that great connection with the audience every night. The people have been very close to me, so I can almost touch them, and like, it's been like very real and raw and sweaty and like it's supposed to. So
you're wearing one of your famous feathers. I was hoping that you would. And I saw that there's been an auction where one of the feathers, or the feathers you wore at Eurovision, were sold for 1,600 euros, which is a lot.
I know.
I mean, what was it, 3 feathers? So my question would be, how many feathers do you have in your closet?
Well, I'm kind of rich now if I come to think of it that way. I have like 100 at least. Yeah, it was for a good cause. It was a charity thing to save a piece of forest in Finland. And it was nice. A friend of mine, he's also in a rock band, he put this together, this campaign, and it was nice. But I was really surprised, like 1,600 for a few feathers. What?
But how do you do this? Like, how does it stay on your head while you're performing?
It's magic.
Okay, magic.
It was just like this when I was born.
Okay, great. Good. Then it has almost been a month since you released your album Rise. How did your fans react to it so far?
Very well, I have to say. We had this sort of... we were trying to match the sound to the earlier days with this album a little bit, because I think when we did this, we did a special tour about 3 years ago, just before COVID. We played our most famous album, Dead Letters, on a tour, so we played only songs from that album, and it felt really good, and we sort of stayed on that vibe, and we went to studio after that. And a lot of people find these 2 albums now, the new one and the old one with In the Shadows on it, sort of similar, and they've been very happy that we got back to more like a rock sound, and it feels good, I have to say. Like, playing these songs live, they really fit in the set, and still they're a bit fresh somehow. Like, there's something new.
Yeah, I think especially Fireflies and Be Somebody sound very familiar, but like you said, they're new, but they sound a little bit more like the older days than maybe the other ones. What were your intentions when writing Fireflies?
Fireflies was, honestly, I was really depressed at that time. I don't want to go too much into that, but it was like I was sick mentally and physically too. And pretty much after that, we even actually broke up with the band. Pauli, the guitarist, he left, and it was a disaster. But we got over that. But I wrote this song while I was really feeling sad and melancholic, and I just felt like, you know, I was afraid to leave the house. I started to act really weird, and this was just like a reflection of that. But I like the song because originally I was gonna sing it very loud and high. It was gonna be almost like screaming, but then I worked alone I was recording the vocals actually inside my car for this one because I couldn't travel. I was locked in Hawaii, where I live. I was just recording my own vocals for this album mostly. So I recorded this in my car, and all of a sudden I decided to sing it very quietly instead of screaming. And that contrast is pretty nice in this track. I think it sounds interesting. And that's also been one of the highlights in the live show. A lot of people like this song.
Yeah, but nevertheless, you said like this one song you felt depressed while writing it. But I think Rise as an album, like the name itself says it, kind of sounds more optimistic. Were you, and the first song on the album, which is Live and Never Die, is exactly this. It's like an optimistic start to the album,
Yes.
I think. So was optimism a driving feeling when arranging the album?
Well, when things started to get better, it was definitely something I wanted to emphasize. Like, this album kind of tells a story of the last 3-4 years. And we had a very happy beginning, you know, we were supposed to be in a great studio for months and months and like really hang out together with the band. And then COVID happened and everything was taken away from us. And we live in different countries. You know, I live in Hawaii, Eero lives in Australia, and Guy's in Finland. So we had to work from different continents and we couldn't see each other for over a year physically. And it was very hard for us, because we're used to being like close brothers, you know, always spending time together, and all of a sudden we are not. And it was bad, and we ended up breaking up. Pauli left, and then, you know, all these songs that we wrote during that time, they have this like extra melancholy in them, and it's kind of depressed and sad. So once things got better, after Emppu joined us as a new guitarist last September, we started, you know, things started to fall into places, and all of a sudden there was like a bright future in front of us. We had an idea like, let's go to Eurovision, let's do this and that, and all of a sudden things started to go right. And it was just, we felt like we want to write more songs to this album because we are saved and we have good feelings. And then we wrote Jezebel, Rise, and Live and Never Die, which all have a very kind of uplifting and positive vibe. So there was like a happy ending to this album.
So your new guitarist, this is the first album she's on. How did you find her as a musician?
Well, I've known her from different bands. She has played in a very successful band when she was 13.
Like, oh wow, that's very young.
Yeah, they had this girl band. It was a big phenomenon in Finland, like multi-platinum selling, whatever, huge. But then after that, she played also in some punk bands, and I've always kind of followed her from the distance and kind of admired her work and her, you know, presence. But I never knew her personally. It was the first time we met when she came for the rehearsals first time, and since I didn't know her, I actually got an idea asking her. So I googled her picture from internet and sent it over to the rest of the band, to Aki and Eero, and asked him like, what do you think? Is this the new guitarist for the Rasmus? And they were like, whoa, that would be cool. And we called her, and she came to Helsinki, or we all met in Helsinki, and she had prepared 2 songs, In the Shadows and Immortal, and we played those songs, and it felt like instantly like she is the one, and she is a good match. Like musically, she's a great player. She has a like a rock background. Her style of playing is similar, you know, suitable for our music, but also she's a very same kind of a personality that we are. I think she's a bit rebellious and like always, you know, looked a bit special, and like we do, you know. I have my feathers still on, so what can I say? But you know, like she has the little bit of like tongue in the cheek, like not taking life so seriously in a way. And she really fits the band perfectly. I'm so happy to have her with us.
So, and she added to the energy that helped you releasing the album the way it is right now.
Yeah, her appearance changed the course of the band a lot to something that we were when we started. That's why I'm so grateful for her. Like, she sort of woke up the joy of playing together and being in this group. And I just didn't notice that we were actually so sad, and like, you know, things were happening slowly and we were sort of breaking apart slowly. So you sort of forgot how it was at the beginning. But now we have all these things, like we are actually rehearsing in a similar place that where we started in 94. We used to play in the basement of a house, like a crappiest, you know, room with the wooden panels on the walls and like a good old garage band. And we have it again, like in Finland. We found this place. It's in the basement of a house, and sort of intentionally bringing back the realness to this thing. It does good because you get lost in the glamour and all that stuff. I think it's important to have like your feet on the ground.
Yeah, nostalgia is a big topic that I think moves a lot of us right now because times are hard right now. But what would you say are better now than they were when you started your career?
Well, I really like the fact that you can have all the music in the world in your pocket, on your phone. It's like so convenient and so good that, you know, it's available. Also, the fact that people can record very good quality music at home with their, you know, little laptops and, you know, in their bedrooms, and you can just write a greatest song and release it, and it can go viral and be the biggest hit of, you know, next year. And that you don't need that big money or big teams always behind it. You know, that's the great thing about these modern times, that, you know, people get to choose.
Yeah, so music has become a lot more democratic, let's say, in the last 20 years.
That is true. And that's a good way to go. But still, it just felt, I still miss some things. Like, I love to make albums. I don't know if, you know, it seems like a trend that people just release songs and then they maybe put out an album later. But I love to work so that we have a vision for an album, and then, you know, it's like a bigger cake, and then you have to like sort of find all the pieces and ingredients to make it happen. And also, like, when you release albums, but every once in a while, to me it kind of takes away the pressure. Like, it puts an end to a certain period of time, and then it's time to move on. And now it's 10 albums already. It's pretty nice diary of the Rasmus.
So you say if you have the songs of Rise, you need to hear them the way you intended to and not just as a part of, let's say, a playlist.
Yeah, I think they all connect in some way. I don't know if it matters to a lot of people, but to me it does. And I believe in that. More and more important it has become to please myself. No, it sounds ugly, but it's just like I really want to feel the songs myself first, and I want to be the first one to shed the tears. You know, it's like,
so
that's
what's
so horrible.
Your
but I mean,
song?
like, you gotta be real to your music. You have to love it yourself. That's the only way.
Yeah, true. So what's your favorite song on the album?
Well, I like a song called Odyssey. It's like a quiet one, actually. It's about my relative, this guy who lives in Finland in the middle of the forest. He's very lonely guy, I think the loneliest guy I know. But he's very special, and he kind of chose this way of living in this house by himself. And I often think about him because my life is so hectic, and I see all these people all the time, and I travel around the world. And, you know, I stop and think about him very many often times. Like there he sits, and maybe he's looking out the window and scratching his cat, and whatever. But it's great that we are different in this world, and there is always room and space for that. I think everybody has to be truly who they are, and that's the beauty.
So you wouldn't want to swap?
I wouldn't want to. I always dreamt like, one day I become this gardener and I will have my little garden in northern Italy on a mountain, and then I have my donkey and I'm feeding carrots to my donkey.
Yeah, sounds great.
That dream will have to wait because I have too much to do and to say.
Yeah, but right now you said you live in Hawaii. I think many people would love to live there, so it's not that bad actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great place to live. I've lived there now 3 years, and actually I just moved my stuff to Miami.
Okay.
So that's my next destination and home.
Sunny
city.
as well.
Yeah, it's sunny, and it's a lot closer to Europe, because the time difference and the traveling was kind of killing me. It's so far. Especially
if one of you lives in Australia, so that's like everywhere around the world.
Yeah, it is crazy, but still we are playing internationally with the band. So, it's not a big deal to come together in some, city, let's say Milan, and then we have a rehearsals there, and then we go on the tour. And,
So right now you're here in Munich. Did you already have a chance to see something of Munich, or are you like in your tour bus and then you go to the next destination?
Yeah, we went to the gym with the bass player Eero. Like to get some exercise. It's a good thing to wake up to a day. And we actually were driving around with these scooters, and mine stopped working, so I had to jump on Eero's scooter. We did like illegal two guys on one.
The police didn't see you because
yeah, but I made a good TikTok, so it was worth it.
Ah, okay, so worth it, completely worth it. Okay, so one last question, because once you leave Rock Antenne, it will be right before your gig tonight. What will the rest of the evening look like before this gig?
Yeah, now I'm done with the interview stuff. Then I'm trying to make it to the sound check. If my driver is fast enough, then we have this meet and greet with the fans. We have done that every day on this tour, and it's great. We meet about 30 people before the show, and it's been really great for the shows. Somehow I loved it because we get to meet them, and then of course they get the chance to be in the first row because they get like in 1 hour before, and it's such a friendly feeling to go on stage because I've already met them just 2 hours before, and I've heard their stories, and it really feels good. I've enjoyed this fact that it feels almost like I have my friends in the first row.
So has there been one fan that stuck to your mind?
Well, let me think. There was this pretty girl yesterday. She was out at the after party too, and she was throwing up all over the place.
Oh, no. Oh, that sounds horrible.
I know, but she was kind of pretty.
Okay, well then. Oh, so great. I wish you all the best for your gig tonight. Thank you so much for spending the rest of your time today here at Rock Antenne.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was great fun. So have fun tonight, and thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.